please give a warm welcome to Team EPIC.
So, we are EPIC, and within the next 5 minutes we want to convince you to be EPIC with us, to create an EPIC future, and we want to tell you why it is so important that the EU and the EPP addresses the topic of housing as one fundamental element of the cost of living crisis. We want to start with an imagination exercise. Imagine a future in which you do not have to wait for your granny's funeral to own a house. Yes, it might be hard, but yes, it might be true. So on Monday we heard that many young people are faced with unpaid internships coming along with €1,000 of costs during a month. So that's why it's so important to face this issue. And we see that many young people have negative perception on the housing situation, particularly, for example, that they have no access to affordable housing, that they are anxious about their future homes, and that they feel like they have a lack of support. And we can support this with facts. Because the EU has a recent survey which showed that 93% of Europeans rank worry about the cost of living crisis as the #1 crisis. And we also see that there is an 18 percentage points increase in negative perception on future from 2022 to 2023. And we see that 4 out of 10 people thereby think that living conditions will be worse in 1 year. So isn't that a reason to start a social media campaign? Isn't there a reason to create impact? That's where we start.
And well, what's a good issue without a good design? So to tackle the problem of the living crisis, we came up with a campaign which is called EPIC. Imagine a future in which you don't have to wait for your granny's funeral to own a house. Wouldn't that be epic? With humor, we're trying to make the user stop, stare, and think for a while. Okay. And imagine a future in which heating your apartment doesn't require you to burn your furniture. With everyday objects and problems, we're trying to use an emotional appeal to get the user's attention. And of course, we're not just here for the jokes, we're also here to inform. The aim of the campaign is to inform about an interest-free EU loan for European citizens to afford housing. We are looking... Thank you. We're aiming to reach people that are ready to own a house, that are ready to get a student loan, to get a housing loan, and who are ready for an hashtag EPIC housing. With EPIC Housing, we want to sell a vision for a better future in Europe. We want to give the youth, the European youth, an opportunity to change their own future for a better, and we want to motivate them to take matters in their own hands.
So for a successful social media campaign, important key points need to be considered. First, it's about the target audience. We want to reach young Europeans, and we want to reach those who wish to buy a house or apartment. Secondly, we need to set clear campaign goals. We follow a tagging strategy encouraging users to tag a friend. By this means, we want to achieve a high reach of the campaign. Third and lastly, we need to specify how we can measure the success of the campaign. Complementing the campaign goals, we focus on 2 measurements. Firstly, the engagement rate to capture how many friends are tagged. And secondly, the reach of the campaign itself. But what are the campaigning for?
The question is, how can the EPP Group make an impact? There are a few solutions, a few ways how to make this come true. Firstly, by implementing a policy for affordable housing. Collaboration with the ECB is necessary in order to succeed. And of course, as you heard, including an interest-free loans for young Europeans. Now, first and foremost, we all understand that affordable housing is not just a matter of bricks. It is about empowering the future. And we believe that every young European should have the opportunity to have a place that they can call home, to build a life, and to secure the financial future. It's about providing the stability and security that all of you deserve. Now, I will have a few questions that I would like to ask you. Please, let's make a little interaction. Raise a hand. Who is renting? Who pays rent? Please, raise your hand. Let me see your hands. I would say a majority. Good, thank you. Now, who owns a house or an apartment? Who owns a real estate? Raise your hands. Lucky you, good for you. Great. And who of you wants to own an apartment or a house in the future? Raise your hands. And would you be interested in an interest-free loan? Raise your hand if you'd be interested in that. As we can see, most of you are a target group, and I have a proposal. Let's be epic together. Thank you.
Okay, let's hear some comments from Lydia. Just some quick comments on that. An interest-free loan. Ooh.
I don't know. It's
Number 11, yeah.
Well, congratulations for bringing housing to debate in this Parliament. Being president of the youth of EPP, I can see that this is a problem for many countries, for many young Europeans across the continent, and to which we have to find a solution. One thing that we have to have in mind is that when we are talking about housing, we are talking about something that is of national competence. But even with that being a little obstacle, it does not impede us from raising awareness, and this is exactly what you are doing here, in a very well thought and constructed way, raising awareness for something that can hamper the aspirations of the young generations. We cannot live in a circumstance that our generation is going to live worse off than the generations that preceded us. And that's why we can together, in sharing best practices, because this is what the European Union is also about. We can share best practices in the problems that we have, even if we have national circumstances, and this is a good point. So I think it is very relevant. I think this is something that is very topical, is a priority. I come from a country, Portugal, that is having a lot of trouble for the younger generations to find a house, to have access to a house. Do you know when do a young Portuguese leave his or her parents' house? 33, 34 years old. So this is a huge problem to which we really have to find a way in resolving. As I said, national competence, but it does not impede us in addressing this problem, in raising awareness, because, and this is an underlying issue, we have an aging society in Europe. We have a demographic problem in Europe. And if we don't address it today, I think in the next years we will have some other issues. So congratulations for having the courage to bring such a sometimes controversial topic to the debate in this House.
Yeah. Okay, questions from the audience. Let's take a couple. Yeah, the gentleman here with blonde hair on number 33.
Yeah, my name is Joe and I'm from Sweden. I'm wondering, would not interest-free loans for some part of the population sharply increase the price of housing because people can't take interest-free loans, and would that not hurt those who would not qualify, those of middle age, those older trying to actually move to an apartment at the end of their life, would that not hurt them? Should we youth accept that because things have to go well for us, it should hurt others?
Okay. Please. It's a good question.
Thank you for the question. Of course, because we are here members of the youth event, that's why we focused on young people. But of course, the question is that, for instance, in our countries, if you make some regulations based only for young people or elderly, it won't be possible by law in some cases. So this is maybe the thing that you are putting the attention to. Of course, it matters to the state from state, but the most important thing is that, as Mrs. Pereira said, that it's about opening the topic, because there are ways that each state can do maybe to... The problem is that why the prices are so high, that there aren't enough new buildings that are being made. So there is a way to think about making a better options for maybe developers in some cases to build, for instance, compatible houses, cooperative houses, and so on. And then it's of course by the municipalities mostly to say who will use that apartment or not.
Okay. Thank you very much for your answer. Let's go to 244.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Agnes from Germany. The topic you choose for your campaign, I think we all can relate with it, but I have a question to the design for your social media campaign. I really think the young audience will like it and it is going viral, but I see a high risk of people not taking it seriously if you're addressing the issue like this. How will you deal with that and maybe do some changes, or?
Fantastic.
Yes, I think that's a really valuable comment, and we were thinking about that. For us, it feels like, because there's so much content on social media, and we really saw the task to make people stop scrolling. And I think with an easy sentence and with just saying get an interest-free loan, they might not directly say it. And if they have a vivid image in their mind and they see, okay, that's maybe funny, but it can be true, and they can relate it, we can make it an emotional basis, which encourages them to really stop scrolling. Nevertheless, I would everybody encourage to test such campaigns in a smaller group, see how they perceive it, whether maybe one sentence is better perceived than another sentence. For instance, maybe the furniture slogan is better than the other one, and you could extend it to several slogans, but you can make a test run and see which campaigns works better, and then maybe they might go with this one. But that's a really, really valuable comment. Thank you very much.
Okay. So let's have a massive round of applause for the team EPIC. Yeah, so now we're gonna start the vote. Well done, guys. Just to say that it's really, really difficult for people to come and stand here, present an idea, and then defend it as well. But let's have a vote. Remember, the question is, would it stop you from scrolling? This is about the success of the social media campaign. So, the vote is open. Let's see how well you do. Remember, green in favour, abstention. Weird one in this case, but if you need to, you can abstain. And against if you want. This is a really interesting one related to that question. Would this stop you from scrolling? I'm going to give you a few more moments to register your vote. Last few seconds. I think we're all done. Okay, vote is closed. Let's see how well you did. And I'll get it right this time. Of 268, 153 in favour, 97 against, and 18 abstain. Well done, Team EPIC. We'll see how well you do. Yeah, give them a hand.